off your shoes and socks and we'll be getting, no, I'm just messing with you.
That's why we're leggings.
Yeah, it's like jeggings or whatever, yeah, it's fine. So welcome everyone, my name is Kevin Brown, and I'm really excited to be able to talk to you guys about the benefits of yoga because it's really benefited me. On the Infonet, the information that was posted there about me basically informs you that, you know, my past with yoga was I got hit by a drunk driver and a T-bone destroyed my car, busted my ribs, and it was a little bit of a road for recovery. Didn't really bounce really quick back from that. So I added yoga because I was weightlifting, I was running, I was doing all these things, and yoga really just helped facilitate that recovery. And then I've added Pilates in, but overall, I mean, I love yoga because of the fact that it made me more flexible than I was to begin with before the car accident. It's increased my breathing and lung capacity, which that's one of the benefits I'll go over. I've been working at LA Fitness for 10 years this year, and Indie House Pilates I think for 5. So how many people have taken a yoga class? Everybody here, right? No. Okay. So the people who haven't, don't worry. I mean, there was a time in my life when I'd never taken a class, so you're fine. So, the thing about yoga is hopefully you found it to be beneficial in some ways. The one thing I will say about it is if you have high blood pressure, one of the health benefits is heart health. And it's had studies done on it, and it's shown to lower your heart rate. So that's good for anybody that's taking medication for high blood pressure. And I don't have that, but I find it that it's very beneficial into the practice of just meditation. And it's nice because it's not a religion, it's just an exercise. And it's been around for, I think it's 5,000 years or something, I don't know statistics on that. But it's been around, it's one of the oldest practices. And it's just from people studying and watching animal behavior. So how animals stretch. We've got a Weimaraner at home, and it's always doing down dog. I mean, like literally, it's like goes to sit down, it's like, he's back. It just looks like it feels good. So I can see where these people kind of like, hey, let's just try that ourselves. I don't know who thought, hey, let's do what animals do, but those are some of the stretches. So heart health is the first one that I wanted to touch on, and I only picked 5 because they only give me half an hour to talk to you guys. So you can't have all day. Increased flexibility. That's an excellent way to improve the flexibility of your muscles as well as your range of motion for your joints. So, basically, if your joint mobility and your muscle flexibility is increased and you bend your arm backwards, or you're playing golf and you want to improve your golf game but not leave where you're having a hard time walking afterwards, it's going to be a lot more limber to be able to twist and flex and go in and out of extension, forward flexion, and just strengthen your transverse abdominis. So, I mean, that's just going to be just a huge benefit as well. And then posture, strengthening your core, again, transverse abdominis. As you're practicing some of the warrior series and some of the sun salutations, and then some of the deeper poses like pigeon and things like that for runners, it's just a good way to just increase all of your flexibility, increase any kind of sports activity that you do outside of work. And if you do, if you're lifting patients or you're lifting groceries, whatever you're doing, if you're picking something up, you'll notice after taking yoga and even adding a little bit of Pilates in there, the thing is when you bend forward, you'll notice your belly button will just automatically come back. And it's like it's tightening to protect you, and that's what your abs are designed to do. They help you move through space, and they tighten to protect your spine and support your spine so while you're moving. So that's another huge benefit. So heart health, flexibility, posture, it's a lot more effortless to stand with a good posture or sit with a good posture. Now, the sitting thing, I mean, it's like nobody likes to slouch, right? Heard my dad say it, he jammed the yardstick down my back. All he needed to do was take me and sign me up for yoga, but he didn't do that. So. But anyway, yeah, it's just one of those things that can increase your posture, and by increasing your posture, usually that helps you take in more oxygen, and that allows you to think more clearly, and just feel better about yourself overall. I mean, you know, if you've got a better posture, you're not creating late from work at the end of the day with that forward head posture. Everybody's checking their emails and their inbox, and the problem is with that is it's bringing you into all this forward flexion, where you're stretching out the thoracic section of your back, and I mean, most people, I don't know, everybody's kind of versatile, working in a hospital, some people know thoracic. So the middle section of the back, if you're in forward flexion, you're stretching out all those muscles. You need to come back up here, maybe do some shoulder rolls back, and then practice a few breaths in and out. And while you're consciously breathing, you know, tighten up those abdominal muscles and push that air up and out a little bit more, and that's just going to increase more oxygen intake. You're going to think more clearly. You'll feel better at the end of the day, hopefully a lot more relaxed, going home with a lot less stress, just, you know, and tension on the neck and the body. The breathing part of yoga, which is necessary, traditional yoga breathing is inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And the reason for this is because you want to elevate your body temperature. And you want to practice yoga in a warm temperature. You don't want it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to practice hot yoga, but you definitely want to elevate your own body temperature internally. Helps with your mobility for your joints and your muscles. So the warmer you are, essentially, the more flexible you're going to be. If you can stand it, try taking a hot yoga class. If that's not your cup of tea, maybe just try it with a little bit of elevated temperature in your home. You know, it does increase. I like to exercise and do yoga right after like a spin class. Bring a change of clothes, because if you're hot and sweaty, it's not comfortable. You want to be really comfortable for yoga. Being in bare feet while you're practicing yoga. Everybody's here weakening their foot muscles by wearing shoes right now. If you're going to stuff your feet in a shoe, you need to take your shoes off and exercise your foot muscles. And one of the best ways I can tell anybody to do it, and I teach this in every class, so I'm going to share it here with you just because I'm passionate about strong foot muscles and preventing foot cramps, toe cramps. They're annoying, nobody likes them. If you want them to go away, this is all you have to do, and you just have to take your shoe and sock off. You'll have your bare foot right here, and you're going to flex into a nice hard toe point. So you're just going to curl under with the toes, and then you're going to flex and lift, and you're going to get your toes up off of the mat or off of the floor as much as you can to stretch, because once you come here, that dorsiflexion, plantar flexion of the foot, usually everybody gets that arch, cramp in the arch, or their toes go, it's like, you can't, what are you going to do? So basically, you want to pause on the inhale and keep the toes lifted. You want to exhale, pause on the exhale, and keep your toes curled under nice and tight. And the more you practice that, I always teach that laying flat on your back, and your feet are just kind of walking away from your glutes like inchworms. So they're just creeping forward, but as you're holding that inhale, they're still here. Then you're holding the exhale. So do it as slow and controlled as you can. If winter decides to show back up in Indiana, it could snow in July just because of where we live. So, just focus on that exercise. That's one of the most important. All the other ones you can kind of find on the internet or try and take a class. Hopefully you come see me, because I want to share that with you in a class environment. The other thing is I just had hernia surgery 3 weeks ago, and part of my recovery from that is just excellent Johnson Memorial Hospital staff. But the other part is yoga. I really attribute the fact that I basically never broke stride. I left here and I was walking around the house that night, and it's tight, it's uncomfortable. It was double hernia surgery. She found the second one in there. So anyway, I recovered fast from that procedure, and it's just because I think the breathing, flexibility, the posture, everything that came from yoga totally helped me recover and bounce back really, really quick, because I went back to work after 1 week, taking off, staying at home. I still haven't lifted anything, and I haven't used stairs, but I feel like I can. I'm just obeying the rules. So I've talked about everything, And then basically to relieve stress, the meditation and the breathing, a lot of times the music. If anybody wants any music, I've got some music I can share with them. I can make you a CD or I can put some on USB drive if you have a hard time. Usually you can download something or go to Yoga Fit. I recommend their music because my favorite mix is from them, and I like to purchase things from their company. But the music and all of the deep breathing, the meditation, the kind of just taking a moment to just scan over your body, some of the deep relaxation, people will leave and get up out of class sometimes at LA Fitness, and they'll just walk out and they're like, well, he's just gonna breathe and lay on the mat. It's like, well, there's a purpose for that. You know, we've done all this workout and you're kind of cheating yourself out of being able to lay there and kind of evaluate yourself for a moment. You know, nobody does that usually on their own time at home or takes the time to stretch at home. And once you get to that point and you're actually warm enough to where you can lay back in the mat and you can kind of feel your body sinking into the mat, relaxing and releasing, which is kind of like your dessert for doing a nice hard workout. The thing is, you know, it's just really important to see if you're tight in your pelvis still or your hip flexors still tight after a yoga class, to find out where you have tightness or stress or strain in your body still. And if you can release it by breathing, or if you need to do some other stretches, or you need to, you know, talk to a physician about it or a yoga instructor about it. You know, sometimes I'm able to help people and sometimes not. Sometimes there's some other things. I will say, when you go to take a yoga class, always pay attention to your own body and your needs and how it feels exactly to you, because right now, you know, I'm still instructing in front of a group, and I went back to teaching my class. I did not do sun salutations, but I did the whole entire class, and I was just paying attention. I never felt any tension or strain or stress or any pull on my incision or my recovery area from my hernia repair. So that's why I'm always saying, you know, you want to just kind of move slow, have fun, focus on your breathing, and focus on listening to your own body and scanning over yourself the whole time, because you don't want to push into, you know, the balance of yoga, doing these asanas or poses. You know, when you're in them and you're sinking in on one side, and you can really press your left hip forward, right hip forward, mirror imaging, so this is my left hip. But anyway, if you're pushing your left hip forward and that hip flexor is pretty loose and you're feeling like, man, this is awesome. And then you go over the other side, I only got that one up here, I've got to shove this one forward. Not so much, you know. Pay attention to your body. Yeah, you want to accomplish that balance over time. After you've been practicing about 3 or 4 years, you should be able to be balanced on each side, but maybe never. Maybe there's a tendon in there that's just not going to stretch any further, and you just have to listen to your body. So, you know, it's a mind-body connection with your muscles, with your sports, with whatever you're doing in life, work, lifting patients, lifting weights, you know, just having fun out, water skiing. I mean, whatever you want to do in your time here at the hospital or your time out of the hospital, hopefully it increases and just improves everything. So those are my 5 points that I wanted to cover in this half hour with you guys. So basically, anything that's like you just have on your mind and you're like, well, you know about this, and I want to know about this. So it's all open for questions at this point, because I didn't want to cover any, like, if I'm talking the whole time, you guys don't get to learn anything other than those 5 beneficial things. But so, what questions you have, or?
I wanted to make a comment that I'm really glad that you're here, and I really appreciate you bringing this to Johnson, because I've been pushing for yoga and meditation and like relaxation type stuff.
Cool.
Here at the hospital. So I'm really glad you're here. So I appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here. That's awesome. I love yoga. So, anybody else have any questions? Or?
So I just started taking Zumba, which I absolutely love. It's intense and of course sore, but I'd like to be able to continue. But if I added yoga in, would that help as far as joint pain, other issues? Would I be able to maintain that intensity, and would the yoga help with strengthening me so I could maintain?
Yeah, as always, I mean, it's different with everybody, but yeah, it should, because of the fact that you're stretching your muscles out, and the more limber you are, the more mobility that you have in your joints. And, especially synovial joints, in the hips and
That's
ball
where
and
I'm
socket.
feeling it really bad right
and
here.
That's why that's the majority of the thing in my classes is that, I have a physical therapist that is named Poonam, and she comes to my class regularly, and, she's like, can you just do like hip opening things? I'm like, yeah. Your hips are going to be open at the end of this class, but and it's totally beneficial to everybody. Everybody's training for the mini marathon. Everybody's training for the Shamrock Run. Everybody does the Shamrock Run. I'm sure everybody in this room signed up for it. So you see, they're Saturday. The thing is, it definitely improves all of the joint issues. It's not good if you got some kind of degenerative thing or something like that. Even if you have that, you're not putting added weight lifting or strain and stress on that joint by doing yoga. You're just moving against gravity with your own body weight. So it's still more beneficial to do than, like some kind of weightlifting or bands or anything like that, as far as, increasing your mobility in your joints. So Zumba should feel more comfortable. And I would practice yoga, probably, if you're doing one Zumba class a week, I'd try and do like one at the beginning of the week and one at the end. Or I'd just try and practice it daily, just a few different stretches every day. I mean, it's nice to do, especially right after you get out of the shower. Just do a few stretches from yoga, and especially in your hip area. You can do some deep squats and things like that, and just kind of open up the inner thigh and hip area. Sun Goddess. If you're still having any kind of trouble with anything, too, send me an email or something, or I'll get with you. Get in touch with my wife, and I'd be happy to tell you what I think you need to do yoga-wise that would benefit you the most. I'd be happy to give you information on that, because maybe not the whole yoga class is going to be good for you, and if you're not going to go and attend one, there are certain stretches you can do just in your own home that you need for you only. So. Anybody else? Question? I'll tell you another benefit too, is all you need to know is how to take off your shoes and socks, and you buy a mat, and it's not very expensive. So that's another benefit to yoga. If you're going to have that, it's not like you have to go out and buy a Bowflex. It's just just a mat, and the reason for the mat is basically you just want something sticky so that you can sink back into some of the poses, because going into down dog and things like that on carpet, if your hands feel like they're going to slide, you're not really sinking in and getting your chest back as far as it should go, and you're not going to increase your flexibility with that one. You're going to have your abs really, really tight, and you're going to be trying to sink back, but then you're going to feel like you're going to slide forward, and it's just not going to work. Can't think of anything else. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have taken yoga before, and there are some positions that I just can't get into.
Yep.
Are there ways that, like, an alternative to that position that you can use, or just do what you can do, and hopefully you'll get more flexible and...
There are usually variations and options. So hopefully you've got an instructor that can tell you what they are. If you want to ask me what they are, I can show you the modification and give you the modification to practice on your own time. So if you have that question, I can go into it. If you can't remember exactly what it was, then I'll put you on the spot.
A little while ago.
Okay. But yeah, and if you have any trouble with that, contact Amanda or something, and I'll definitely get you an answer. Anyone else? That it?